and welcome to Dice Jesters. My name is Julie.
And my name is Dave.
And we are a merry and whimsical board game podcast where we dive deep into games with curious minds. And of course, a Jester's Grin. We feature 10 by 10 challenges where each season we commit to playing 10 games at least 10 times and sometimes much more. Today, we wanted to give you an update on where season 5 is, where we are, and what we have been up to. Again, I think I say this for a majority of the episodes, but you can't see, but I'm doing like glitter hands. I'm like, whoosh.
They can feel it, I'm sure.
They can feel the enthusiasm.
I could feel it.
Well, I mean, you're right there. You should be able to feel it. You can see it. You could do one better. So we wanted to release an episode, right, to let y'all know where we're at with season 5.
We're still alive.
We're alive. So for those of you who are new, welcome. And for those of you who may not know, hello. Here's a little update. So Dave and I, we got engaged last year or earlier this year. I can't really remember. You're like, oh, you're breaking people's hearts not knowing the date. I'm like, I'm sorry. But then we got married. And so all of that planning took a lot of time. And as you know, if you're a board gamer, that board games take a lot of time to play, depending on what kind of game you're playing. And since we do it 10 times, it takes
more,
a lot of hours. So we just didn't have time to do that on top of planning like our honeymoon and the wedding and getting that all arranged. Because again, for anybody who's new or anything like that, I am primarily from Wisconsin. Like that's where I lived before I came out to Oregon. So we had to get all of those people who were going to come, had to coordinate around their like travel wise. So that was a lot of coordinating. And then just where people were staying, who was coming. Yeah, the venue. Just all of that pizzazz. Oh my gosh, the food was so good. But so all of that on top of coordinating a honeymoon because we wanted to go directly after, which we thought was going to be like a great idea. We're like, oh my God, this is just such a whirlwind. But yeah, so this episode's more so just an update. And then if y'all wanted to know how just things have been going, that is what this episode is. I wanted to say that up front because I don't want to make any of y'all sad that we didn't particularly talk about board games. It's just more so a podcast update and life update that we usually would have on our Patreon. But we decided to go away from Patreon, not because Patreon did anything bad or anything, but just because we personally didn't feel like we were giving enough to it. Like we weren't giving enough behind the scenes in our eyes or like just providing content to that. And so we felt like it was unfair to have a Patreon up. But if you would like to support us in any way, you can give us a tip. You can use the link. We'll put it to this episode. It's a link to our bio site, which has a bunch of links to our social media and stuff like that. And there's a little tip there. And if you do it, we'll huzzah you because we're jesters, the Renaissance. Yes, noble tipper, huzzah. I don't know. That was my favorite thing. That's always been my favorite thing at Ren Fair is to get that holly jolly huzzah. So that's something you're into. I know you don't even need a huzzah. Just let us know that too.
If you really need a huzzah, you can just ask.
Yeah. Yeah, you can email us at thedicejesters@gmail.com with subject line, please huzzah me. My name is... Rough week. Yeah, I just need a good huzzah.
Need a win.
I don't mind. But yeah, so season 5 is going full steam ahead. Yeah. We, at this point in time, have 2 games done. We decided for this season that we were going to kind of work a little bit ahead prior to release because we're doing it a little different from our seasons. We always look back at our previous ones and think, how can we change it? How can we improve? What can we do that's even more whimsical, more intense. How to outstage the previous one. So this season we upped the intensity.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot. I'm feeling it. And so that's what we have underway. And that honestly you should be seeing pretty shortly after this release. I would say probably like May, right?
Like
we're in April right now.
Yeah, we're going to probably get 3 games completed before we start releasing those.
Yeah, just so then we can get on a cadence. Speaking of cadence, it won't be weekly. So previous seasons, we were weekly for those seasons where we were pumping out games back to back. And that was exhausting, to say the least.
It was difficult.
It was. We enjoyed playing the games. It's just... it's a lot to do in like weeks.
I think when you feel the pressure of, oh, we need to get this out every week, we need to play 10 plays of this in the next week and then record and edit and get that out in time for the Tuesday release. I want to enjoy the experience of playing the games and not feel like we're up against a clock, so to speak.
It's like unrealistic expectations we placed upon ourselves for no reason. So the cadence, I think we're going to switch to bi-weekly, right?
So we'll
like
look at it and figure out what works best.
Yeah. So then we have enough time to actually sit down, play the game, and do... Like, then it gives us enough time to actually play it more than 10 times. There were a few games that we were able to play more than 10 times in previous seasons, but we did feel up against the clock. So there were some that we didn't play more than 10 times that we did want to play additionally. So with this time around, we're like, no, you can't get us, Sir Time, for we will do what we came to do.
Well, do you want to explain a little bit about, you mentioned that these are a little bit more intense, more in depth. What does that mean?
What does that look like? Well, it looks like a magical fair. So anyhow, with that is, so if you're familiar, we pick a game and we play it 10 times, and then we have the first impressions, the first play, and then after 10 we return to you. So it's going to be something similar, but have that same exact thing where it's the kind of like backstory, first impressions, then it's the first playthrough, then it's the 10, and then there's a fourth section that's going to be magical. Okay.
The magical section.
So it's a magical section. It's kind of like up for debate. It's not particularly up for debate. Like, we know what we're doing, but I'm not going to specifically say it in this because some of them might follow a different structure. But for season 5, there will be 4 special things. Well, technically 1 special thing at the end of the 3 already in place things.
So there'll be longer episodes.
Yeah, there'll be longer episodes.
For sure.
More in depth of the game itself. And honestly, I think it might make people happy, like, especially when they're like, oh, I want to do this. And they're like, oh, I'm thinking about this. And then they can just walk on over to Dice Jesters and be like, oh, they have the whole thing right there. Pew, pew.
And that's our goal. It's been our goal the whole time, is capturing the experience of playing a game a lot and going in depth and having a chance to talk about it on a profound level rather than just, oh, this game seems cool, I can't wait to play it again someday, I'm sure we'll like it. It's no, we're going to play it a lot right now and then talk about what we noticed and how our perspective has changed. So you'll get that in even more, to a greater extent, I would say.
Yes. And you might learn, maybe we might discover more than birds this season. I don't know.
What?
Well, I feel like every season we unlock something, like a core memory of mine.
That's
and I'm
true.
like, oh God.
Your character develops, for sure.
My character develops. I'm just a character.
Such a complicated character.
Thank you. But speaking of characters, so for those of you who've been on the journey with us, or if you're even listening to this episode and you're like, okay, I vibe with them, we are going to talk about shortly how our wedding went and our honeymoon, because Dave and I, well, especially me, I'm pretty sure you feel the same way. We feel like it's important that the audience gets to know us too.
Yeah.
Not just the games we play, but we want to make a connection on like that deeper level. Not creepy though. Like you're like, isn't it creepy if you say it's creepy? I'm like, I don't know. You're like, now I'm tuning out.
Weird.
You're like, now it's weird. Now everybody's leaving the room. No, so we just kind of wanted to share that with you, especially because like there's some people who were here since day one where they like saw our character arc and everything because you're calling me a character. But yeah, we just wanted to share that. So if you have been here since the beginning, I'm sure you picked up that we're quite quirky. And that's how our wedding was. It was a quirky, cute, pleasant wedding. For that, we had everybody dress in one color and then I dressed in another color, so it could kind of be like a pop, so you could kind of see where I was throughout the room, like, oh, there she is, because she's the only one in that color. So that
and
was
my tie was the same color. So.
Yeah, you matched me. And then the individual who walked me down the aisle had the same color, and then he married us, so it was us 3 with that same color. So it was super cute. And I thought it was adorable.
It was a cool aesthetic, I thought.
Yeah. And you and I aren't dancing masters of any sort. What?
I'm a dancing master.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I guess you could be a dancer. With your little shoulder moves. I'm doing it, right? I'm doing it just like you're like, ooh. Okay, well, fine. I guess you're a dancing master. I'm not a dancing master, but our DJ said, no, you guys have to have that slow dance. So we decided to do it anyways. And I think the whole time we were just kind of like staring and laughing at each other. We're like, what do we do? And I was like, spin me. And you're like, what? I was like,
and then you spun me.
Yeah, then I spun you. It's very on par, I would say. But yeah, and then we didn't do a cake just because, I don't know, you and I, like, I feel like podcasts work for us because we can chill and talk, but when it comes to putting on, like, that show of, oh, let's cut the cake while everybody's watching us, we're like, oh, please don't watch us.
We don't like the spotlight that much.
We're just like, So we did cheesecake and a crumble cake, and they were already pre-cut, where people could just go up and grab it. Actually, people got to it before us. I was like, I didn't even know the dessert came out, but okay, here we are. It was a relaxed, chill wedding. It was more like a party.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say very, not informal, but non-traditional, I would say.
Yeah,
it was
very
very
non-traditional.
laid-back wedding.
Yeah. So that happened. Then we went straight into the honeymoon, which was Disneyland. Because I've never been before. So that was so funny. So Dave and I were watching these, I don't know what to call it, these like YouTube videos of Disneyland just because I've never been. And
We've been to Disney World.
Yeah, I've been to Disney World. But you found a lot about me in this trip. And I was all like, oh my gosh.
How long can this episode be?
Right. Well, I mean, I don't know. People might be intrigued. Okay, it goes back into board games. There you go. It goes back into board gaming. But before we get back into board gaming, I just want to talk about rope drop. Okay, so I didn't know this thing existed. And supposedly we were watching videos and you can go up to the rope of the land you want to go in. And then you can be like the first on the ride. And so you and I had gone through security through the front gate and we picked our rope because you're like, you're going on Space Mountain. Space Mountain's the ride to go on, which by the way, my face, I didn't know it took a photo. So my face is very like blasé. I was just like, yes, I went on ride. But with that, we did rope drop and the rope drops and then you have to run, okay? Because people run into you. They trample you.
It's
I
like
almost
Black
got
Friday
pushed. Yeah. I almost got taken out by like a group of kids. I was like, oh my God. Everyone's trying to get to Space Mountain. Everyone's laughing. And then the cast members are like, no running. Everyone slow down.
We're like,
I was like, oh my God. So if you've never done rope drop, I do recommend doing it. It's quite
It's
fun.
a whole experience.
It's a whole vibe. One time's good for me. So we only did it once. But then the rest we did closing, which I think the closing is probably the best because you could hop on literally every ride. So that's pretty neat. And with the rides, come into the board game genre because you had found out things about me that I didn't understand until you were like, no, it makes sense.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'll just say that I've never ridden a ride with somebody who showed so little emotion. Like Space Mountain, all I could hear was the rush of the wind and then a complete silent person next to me. I'm like, are you feeling anything right now? And then we would get to the end of a ride and you'd be like, that was a great ride. Like, I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell what kind of time you were having. But you, I would say you became more intrigued with how rides were made.
Yeah.
I think I noticed that first on Pirates of the Caribbean and then for sure on Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Where normally I'm about the experience. And I think this plays a lot into our personalities too. I like to experience something and then later kind of ask the questions of, oh, it'd be cool to know how that's made, but without ruining the magic, you know? You want to go straight into ruining the magic.
Oh my God.
But the more you understand the behind the scenes aspect of a ride, of how it's made, then your appreciation for it goes up, and then you like want to go on it more and more.
Yeah, see?
Because you have that appreciation.
Right. I like to figure it out. I'm just like, how?
And I knew when we were on Indiana Jones, that final scene with the boulder when it's coming crashing down and you zip underneath it. I was like, I know that's going to be the scene that she will not rest until she figures out how it's done. And lo and behold,
That was the scene.
Yeah, you were like,
how did they do it? I was like, is it a real boulder? Because it's not a projection.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it drove me insane.
So there was that, but I was thinking about it, and it plays into your board gaming style too, because you're very analytical. When we play games together, I like taking in the experience of playing the game. Like, what does it feel like? What emotions does it bring me? You go straight into analyzing the game design itself and wanting to pick it apart and understand what the best strategy is and figure all that stuff out from your first play of it. So it just kind of plays into both of our personalities. I felt like how we experience the world around us. You're more of a straight up analytical person. I'm more of an emotional person, but with undertones of analytical mindedness. So I thought it was interesting. And then just the fact that we did the rope drop, I was like, are you and I capable of just chilling out? And I don't think that we are, because we're both very go kind of people. We like to constantly be doing things. And this trip was a funny insight into that, because all 3 days, with the exception of maybe the last day, we pretty much were there from opening to close, like constantly going.
Yeah.
And the fact that we do this podcasting stuff and we play so many board games, like we don't have that much downtime in life. And here we are on a vacation, our honeymoon, and it's probably the least relaxing honeymoon you can imagine, because we walked like 40,000 steps a day.
Yeah, we had 18 miles a day.
Our feet were obliterated.
Followed by ice baths.
Yeah. You had to go to the first aid station and ask us if they had like aspirin or something.
Yeah, I was all like, do you have wraps, 2 ice packs, and aspirin? And they were like, what?
So many insights into our personalities, but I had so much fun watching you try to figure out how the rides were made. And I've been to Disneyland over the course of my life. It's the first time when I was like 7 or 8 years old. So it was cool to take you there and see you experience these, not as a child, but as an adult with somebody of your mindset. It was a lot of fun. Hey, very unique.
On the Matterhorn, I put my arms up and looked back at you. I did that for you.
You did. You put your arms up for that, and then on Thunder Mountain too. Oh, and the Incredicoaster. Did you put your arms up on that? I
think I did briefly, and then I got bored and I put it back down.
But the photos on the rides were my favorite, because you look at me, there's no better depiction of our personality differences than the ride pictures. Because I have my arms up and I'm like screaming like, yeah! And you just have this super stone face. Absolutely no emotion. I'm wondering if you're a robot. You probably, honestly, it'd be funny to hear the reaction of other people who were on the train with us when they saw the picture. Like, oh, we wanted to purchase this as a family keepsake, and here this person is looking like they're having zero fun on the ride.
But maybe that's more fun. Maybe...
Did you ruin somebody's picture? we should post those on our Instagram so people can see.
Yes. Well, there's the one that Space Mountain that I really like. I feel like I made that photo. Okay,
you did,
because the 2 girls in the front were like screaming. The dad was holding on to his son that you can barely see. You're like giving thumbs up. I think you're doing. You're
pointing.
Yeah, you're like having fun, and I'm just like contemplating how the ride works. That one's gold. I love that. I didn't even know some of them were going to take photos, but no, I think that this experience is both fun because it was my first time, and it's fun because we learned something about one another. And speaking of the photos, I had sent them to people and they were like, oh yeah, these photos make so much sense. They're like, look how much fun Dave's having. And they're like, and then look at you. I'm like, it's not that I'm not having fun. And they're like, you don't look like it. I'm like, it's like, no, I was having fun. And you were like, you could have cracked a smile. And I'm all like, but I don't have fun that way. I cracked a smile on the car ride.
Barely.
Oh my God.
Barely. You're smiling way more now than you did on the ride.
It's because I'm laughing. I can't laugh with my mouth closed.
You like the car. What was your favorite ride? Maybe top 3. Let's talk about that.
I like the car ride. Like, because you got to race another car. That was super cool. And then I enjoyed the Runaway Railroad.
Oh, the Mickey one.
Yeah, that one was really cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah, because you think, oh, it's going to be like all the other rides. But no, you get lost, like the train track breaks, and you go on your own ride. Like, it's wild.
It's awesome.
It's a wild time. And then Pirates of the Caribbean.
Classic.
It was amazing. I was all like, oh, I was just like, oh. And then right away, right when we got on it, you're like, stop reading the magic. I was like, oh, look at the fireflies. How'd they do that? I'm like,
I figured it out.
Yeah, you're like, stop it. Just enjoy it.
Ruined the magic for me.
Oh my God.
My favorite rides, Space Mountain.
Oh, yeah.
Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah. Indiana Jones is good.
And, Pirates is up there. Haunted Mansion is up there too.
I like the one in Disney World. I think that's just what it is for me. So I didn't pick that one.
And honestly, every ride is, but the new Mickey ride,
that was wild.
That was unexpected.
Grand time
because it's in Toontown, and Toontown is it's not the highlight of the park when you go, but that surprised. And we got to ride it twice. Once I think we waited like 45 minutes, and then the second time was that kind of golden hour when it was the second day at Disneyland. So there was some rain in Anaheim, and at Disneyland, people in Southern California aren't super used to rain. So you find when it rains, a lot of people go home. And so the last like 3 hours of that day on, I think Tuesday, we cranked out so many rides in those last few hours.
We did.
It was nuts. Like we were running from place to place. And then the last hour, we got to ride every Fantasyland ride. So we went on Mr. Toad.
We did.
Snow White, Pinocchio.
Pinocchio was really cool.
And then Peter Pan. Did I say that already?
No, you didn't.
I did. Yeah, and we went to Storybook Land, get the Casey Jr. train,
the
teacups. We did all of that.
An honorable mention is It's a Small World. We did that a few times because it was a long ride that allowed us to sit.
We need, like I said, our feet. I've never felt so close to collapsing.
I thought my Achilles was gonna snap.
So we get back to the room at night and we put our like feet and ankles in a cold bathtub to stop the swelling. And then we wake up early the next day and do it again.
I know, and I'm just over there crying, wanting to cry.
We just really like pain, I guess.
I guess so. But with that topic of pain, we had gone to like the Star Wars cantina or whatever on the night where we were able to get in everywhere, so there was no wait. We were able to just walk in, and they gave us a standing desk. After I told the girl, I was all like, I'm pretty sure I sprained both my ankles.
Sounds like you want a standing place.
So she gave us a standing place, and I was like, I can't stand here.
I know. And I was gonna order something, and I looked at you and I was like, I can't in good conscience make you stand here while I order something because you're in so much pain. So let's just order something. Let's just get out of here.
It's like, I don't want to ruin your good time.
No, it was, by that point we'd been at the park for, I don't know, 15 hours.
For hours, yeah.
Was that the day we'd been there since rope drop?
Yeah, that was that day that we went in after rope drop. We got in at like 8:03.
Oh, okay.
And then,
which is late.
Right, that's late for rope drop. Because they drop right at 8, so people already ran.
The rope drop if you're gonna rope drop. Do you even rope drop?
Oh my god! So we went in, and then we stayed literally until close. Like they were like, "Okay, it's 12, blah blah blah," and then started walking out, which is wild. Oh, I did the magic key thingy.
The magic key.
I was like, I'm not gonna do it, and then I was like, oh, but it's on sale, and then I had the Disney Chase card or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it was even more on
like
sale.
10% off or something.
And I was like, oh, now I have to do it.
So what was that experience?
I don't know. Now that I know, I probably wouldn't do it again.
No, for people that don't understand what it is.
Yeah, you get this giant key to Disney. Okay. Like literally.
It's giant.
It's like bigger than my arm. No, it's about from my hand to my elbow. And so you get this big key and you go to places in the park, and when you get to said places, you put the key into the keyhole, and then the keyhole does like some magic.
Bubbles sometimes.
Yes, so cute. And then after that, after you find all of the keyholes, you go back to the beginning and you put it into the final one, and it unlocks a pin. So that's why I did it, because I'm a big pin person. Like,
so I was
literally.
Like, oh, this was like a $35 pin.
You know what? Silence. Well, we have the key so that you can forever live in the magic of Space Mountain.
That's true.
Because I was all like, Space Mountain doesn't make any sense. If you're in space, why is there music playing? You should be sitting in silence anyways. Try to see. I was like, it's a good ride, minus the song.
The song is awesome.
No,
It
there shouldn't be a song. It should all be in silence except for when you're taking off and landing.
Nobody's allowed to scream, or when you do it, it sucks the sound out
Yes,
so you can't
thank
hear.
you. It's like it should be a vacuum. You're like, this is a child's park, Julie.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Even when I was younger, I would think that. Anywho. So yeah, you got this pin that only comes in the key. And it's kind of cute. We got, what did we get? We got the boat cruise thingy.
The steamboat.
Yeah, the steamboat that we didn't end up going on. We were going to go on it, but then the line itself was too long for our ankles.
That was the day. Wednesday was the busiest day at the park because it was a sunny day. It was nice. So everybody who went home early, maybe Tuesday, is now all back at the park.
Yes.
The lines for every ride were nuts. So we kind of chilled, walked around. We got some treats.
Yes.
Got some autographs from characters.
Yeah, autographs. Oh my gosh. Captain Hook blew a kiss at me because I told him, I was like, you're not actually a bad guy, Captain Hook. You just misunderstood.
That was another thing about your personality. To hear you interact with the characters, like you kind of got in character yourself. Like when we were talking to Belle, you were like, she was asking what we were doing, and you were saying, "Oh, we're going to your dad's food cart over here after this," and she was giving recommendations and everything. And then for Tiana, you said something else, but it was just funny to hear you interact in a way where you promoted their character, like played into that.
Yeah, like Mary Poppins, she was just like, "Oh, everyone must be following you," and I was like, "I think they follow you because you give them spoonfuls of sugar." And she was all like, "I think people take too much sugar."
Yeah. It was funny.
But no, Captain Hook was my highlight because I got blown a kiss, and I was like, "Ha ha!" Captain Hook blew me a kiss.
Which you had a funny realization about Captain Hook. You were saying, why is it that Peter Pan is portrayed as a human,
but Captain Hook
has a costume?
Right. Why couldn't he be a human? That makes no sense. You can put a hook on somebody.
Why is Pluto portrayed as a dog and Goofy more as a human?
As a human, yeah. Like, why is it's weird that animals have animals as pets. I don't know, man. It's fishy. Disney, please don't come for me.
If you're listening. When we were walking around the park, we were joking about stuff like this. You're like, shh, don't talk so loud. They probably can hear us right now.
I was like, if there's a microphone, I'm completely joking. I was like, please don't kick me out.
Oh, that was fun. Even the key, walking around looking for the keys. When our legs were killing us, we had to take a break and sit down in between every key hole that we went to go find. Yeah. But we made it out alive. The last day we didn't go nearly as long. We made it. Our last ride was Indiana Jones, and you looked at me and you were like, "I think I'm good."
Well, because I was good since the Matterhorn, or no, since
Star Tours.
Star Tours made me sick.
It was like shaking the.
Yeah, I was shaking it. I was like, I don't like being shook. Okay, don't shake me.
And our bodies were in pain. Yeah. The Matterhorn, I jokingly called Chiropractor Mountain.
Yeah, but that was even more traumatizing because the fireworks were going off while we were on it. I was like, oh my God, my soul's leaving my body right now.
And but you said the Yeti said something like,
oh yeah, the Yeti's like, get ready to feel pain. And I was
didn't hear that. It makes sense because that ride is old. They've renovated it with some new cars, I think, originally, since it originally was open. Mm-hmm. But there's some parts of it where it kind of jolts your body. But I think if you just kind of let your body go limp and loose, it might like adjust your back in certain ways.
See, I didn't feel any of that because I grew up I had gone to Six Flags, right? Great America in Illinois. And there's this ride called The Demon. And that makes you feel like you're going to get your neck snapped. Like that thing's wild.
Awesome.
So when I went on the Matterhorn, I was like, I'm not feeling jerked around. You'll have to go on the Demon and you'll notice the difference. You're just like, I really thought I was going to, I don't know, snap my back.
Sounds like my idea of a good time. Yeah. But I had fun going to Disneyland with you on our honeymoon. We're back now.
We are.
And going to plug forward with continuing on with season 5. Like you said, we have 2 games completed. We're about to start number 3.
Yes.
I won't say which ones they are.
Not yet.
But you will see. And we've had a good time so far.
Yes.
Looking forward to the good times to come.
So many. And looking forward to you joining us. So thank you so much. If you listened all the way, okay, huzzah to you. There's your huzzah for the day. Thanks for listening. So our next episode will be the first episode into season 5. Pew, pew, pew. I don't know why I do the sound effects. You could always just add in the sound effects. But so be sure to be on the lookout for that. If you want to see photos of me nonchalantly just chilling on rides.
Not smiling.
And see Dave excited as you should be on the ride. It's because I was in deep in thought. That's what it was. It wasn't like I was just deep in thought.
Trying to figure the ride out.
Yeah, that's all that it was. It's not that I wasn't having fun. And so you could find those pictures over on our Instagram. Our Instagram is thedicejesters. I'm not quite sure if they'll be out by the time this post. You know, it's kind of like, is this going to post first or will that post first? We'll see. Either way, go to our Instagram. They will post. They will happen.
You'll see them now or later.
Yeah, now or later. They'll come. And if you would like to join us on YouTube, now that we have more time on our hands, you never know. Maybe our YouTube will have a video or two. Dun, dun, dun.
That sounds fun.
Right? So
it's been a while.
It has been a while. But you can follow us on it. Our YouTube as well, which is Dicejesters. And if you would like to email us, that is thedicejesters@gmail.com. And again, thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a wonderful day and be sure to play games with the ones you love.